Welcome to the Crochet Corner at DeeBeezyArt. Today I'm going to be doing a brief tutorial to run you through the basics on how to get started with the craft of crocheting. If you'd like to support my channel, simply click the subscribe button that you'll find below this video. You will find it relatively inexpensive to start up. I would suggest buying a simple kit from an online store such as Amazon or any major craft shop. Most kits will come with everything that you need. You can get a small kit like this, or you can get one in a nice little case to house all your craft tools. I would suggest starting with a kit of about 9 crochet hooks, starting with a smaller, finer crochet hook for lace type work. This particular range then starts at 2mm and goes up to 7mm. After this you can get much thicker crochet hooks suitable for the thicker working yarns. I find this range of rubber handles much easier to hold and more comfortable to work with than other styles, and they go up to a 7mm hook, which is suitable for the thicker working yarns. Just to give you a quick idea of the types of yarn available, this is a double knit baby yarn, which is kind of low to mid-range size, compared to a much thicker heavyweight chenille type wool, which you would need the larger hooks for. So this particular yarn is a Woolcraft Baby Soft yarn, double knit. Most yarns will come with a packaging label which will give you the information that you need to know. A square like this shows you how many stitches and rows will be knitted to a 10cm square using the needle size or the hook size indicated here. And then you will have the laundry instructions for each particular yarn. You should also have an indication of the weight of the yarn in the ball, and sometimes how many meters of length there are in the ball, along with what the yarn is actually made from. With experience, you'll start to learn and understand which hook sizes you need to use for different size yarns. But you'll also find this handy little gadget in a lot of the kits. So you've got these holes which indicate the size of hook or needle to use, and by holding your yarn up against the hole size or threading the yarn through the hole itself, you can determine which is the appropriate size of needle or hook to use. And as you can see, a thicker chenille yarn, you need to start around about 6mm, working up to an 8mm hook or needle. So this is a useful little gadget to have, along with the measurement on the side of this particular one. You're going to need some stitch markers. So you get 2 different types of stitch markers. I prefer this one because it simply hooks in, twists round, and then you twist it out again. You're going to need some wide-eyed blunt end needles for finishing your work. A pair of snippy scissors are usually included in most of the kits. And then you're going to need a tape measure, which again a lot of the kits include. So we're now ready to get started with our practice square on the basic stitchings of. So today for this practice square I'm going to be using a double knit baby yarn, and a 4mm crochet hook. Now everybody has different shaped and size hands, and everybody needs to find their own unique way of holding the yarn and working with the crochet hook. So some people like to hold the yarn between the thumb and the first finger, and some people like to hold the yarn between the thumb and the middle finger. I personally find it's easier and more comfortable to hold the yarn between my thumb and first finger, take the yarn over my middle finger, under the ring finger and over the little finger, and this helps keeps the tension in the yarn whilst you're working. So over the middle finger, under the ring finger and around the little finger, holding the working yarn and project between the thumb and the first finger. Some people prefer to hold the working project between the thumb and the second finger, wrap the yarn around the index finger and then move it up and down and use this as their tension guide. You will need to practice and find what's most comfortable for you. There are also a variety of different ways for holding the crochet hook. Some people like to hold the crochet hook closer to the hook end and hold it like a pen. Some people find it more comfortable to hold it mid-length and towards the back of the hook. Also, the angle that you work into the crochet stitch will vary, and I suggest you find what's most comfortable for you. Some people like to hold it as a pen and some people like to hold it like this. In order to make our foundation chain, we need to start off by making a slip knot. So we do this by winding over 2 fingers, putting the hook under the first yarn and pulling through. Pull up and then pull the longer yarn to tighten the knots. Let's do that again slowly to show you how to do it. So place the yarn between your thumb and your forefinger, take the yarn over the top of 2 fingers, cross the yarns underneath 2 fingers and over the top, and then take the hook under the first yarn, pull through and pull up, and then pull the longer of the yarn threads to tighten the stitch. And there we have our first working stitch. Now take the longer yarn, place it over your little finger, under the ring finger, over the middle finger, and hold the shorter yarn as close to the hook as possible between your thumb and your forefinger, and make sure that you've got a nice gentle tension, and then put the hook under the yarn and pull through. So put the hook under the yarn, twist and pull through, moving your thumb and your forefinger as close to the hook each time. So hook under, twist and pull through, hook under, twist and pull through, hook under, twist and pull through, moving your thumb and your forefinger closer to the hook each time you make a stitch loop. And continue doing this. Try and keep the tension as even as you can, not too tight and not too loose. You will find that by pushing the barrel of the hook right into the stitch and maintaining even tension of the yarn, you will create nice even stitch loops. We're going to need 20 stitches for this square. So if you lay your chain down, you can count each stitch. If you use your blunt needle, you can clearly see where each stitch loop is and count how many you have made. So far I've made 16, so I need to chain another 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have our foundation chain. We're then going to chain an extra stitch, and this begins the stitch for the first crochet of the first row. For our first row, we are going to create single crochets. So in the space loop, the second space from the hook, push your hook through, grab the yarn, pull through so that you've got 2 loops on your hook, grab the yarn and pull through both loops on the hook. So through the next space, push your hook through, grab the yarn, pull through, and then grab the yarn again and pull that yarn through the 2 loops on your hook. So push the hook through the space, grab the yarn and pull through, so you have 2 loops on your hook, grab the yarn and pull through the 2 loops on your hook, push the hook through the next space, grab the yarn and pull through, grab the yarn and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. When you can, hold the worked project in the spare fingers of your hook hand and continue. So into each space, push your hook through, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn and pull through the 2 loops on the hook, push the hook into the next space, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through the 2 hoops on your hook, into the next space, push through, grab the yarn and pull through, grab the yarn, pull through the 2 loops on your hook, and continue doing this until you've worked 20 stitches. We're going to be doing single crochets. And this can be a bit confusing because the UK version of single crochets is different from the US version of single crochets. I prefer the US version, so I call these single crochets. The UK interpretation is a double crochet. So where you have 2 loops on the hook being pulled through like this, the UK calls this a double crochet, the US calls it a single crochet. Just bear that in mind when you're working with different patterns, and just remember that I work with the US terms even though I'm a UK worker. So continue this process until you've worked 20 stitches. And you should have a chain that looks like this. We're now going to chain 1 stitch, So chain 1 stitch means you just pull through and create 1 chain, and then turn your work so that we're going back and working along the length of that foundation chain in the opposite direction. So this first chain makes the first crochet stitch. So into this first stitch you will now have a front loop and a back loop of each stitch. So a front loop and a back loop on each stitch, and we are going to go underneath both the front and the back loops of each stitch, so straight through the space underneath. Push your hook through, grab the yarn and pull through, so you have 2 loops on your hook, and pull through. Push underneath both loops into the space, grab the yarn, pull through. Having 2 loops on your hook, grab the yarn and pull through both loops. Push through the space, grab the yarn and pull through. Grab the yarn and pull through both loops. Into the next space, push your hook, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through both loops. Into the next space, push in your hook, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the loop and pull through both loops, and continue working this until you've worked 20 stitches. When you get to the end of this row and you have worked 20 stitches, we're going to chain 1, turn the work, and then into the first space we're going to start working another row of single crochets. So place your hook under the 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through so that you have 2 loops on your hook, pull the yarn through both loops. Push your hook through the next space under both loops, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn and pull through both loops. Into the next stitch, push the hook under both loops, grab the yarn and pull through, and continue this until you have completed 20 stitches. When you get to the end of this row, you should have worked 20 stitches. You are now going to chain 1 and then turn your work. You should have now worked 2 rows of single crochets, and it should look like this. In the next row we're going to work half double crochets. So we are going to start off by making sure we've got our tension in our fingers. Hold the work. We're going to work into this first stitch. So we yarn over the hook first and then go through the first stitch, grab the yarn and pull through. We will now have 3 loops on our hook. We grab the yarn and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. So let's repeat this stitch. So we yarn over the hook, then put the hook through and under the stitch into the space, grab the yarn, pull through, leaving 3 loops on our hook. Grab the yarn and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. So for the next stitch, yarn over, push through, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn and pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, push through the next stitch, grab the yarn and pull through, leaving 3 loops on our hook. Grab the yarn and pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, push through, grab the yarn and pull through, leaving 3 loops on the hook. Grab the yarn and pull through all 3 loops, and continue this until the end of the row. When you get to the end of this row, you should have completed 20 stitches of half double crochets. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and then yarn over into the first stitch, under both loops, push through, grab the yarn, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Push through, grab the yarn, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And then you are going to continue this all the way through to the end of the row, making sure you yarn over first, go under both loops, pull through, and then pull the yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. So when you reach the end of this row, you're going to chain 1, turn, and then continue doing half double crochets along the next row. And I will meet you at the end of this row. In the next row, we're going to change and do double crochets. So we're going to chain 2 at the end of this row and turn our work. So we are going to yarn over and then push our hook under both loops, grab the yarn, pull through, leaving 3 loops on our hook, grab the yarn, pull through 2 of those loops, leaving 2 loops on our yarn, and then grab the yarn, pull through the remaining 2 loops. So yarn over, push through the next stitch, grab the yarn and pull through, leaving 3 loops on our hook, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, leaving 2 loops on our hook, grab the yarn and pull through the remaining 2 loops, yarn over, push through the next stitch, grab the yarn and pull through, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, leaving 2 loops on our hook, grab the yarn and pull through the remaining 2 loops. So yarn over, push through the next stitch, grab the yarn and pull through, leaving 3 loops on our hook, grab the yarn, pull through 2 of those loops, grab the yarn again and pull through the remaining 2 loops. Yarn over, push through, grab the yarn, pull through, leaving 3 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through the remaining 2 loops. And these are double crochets. In the UK, these are called treble crochets. But in the US, they are called double crochets. And as I said previously, I tend to prefer to work with the US terminology, but always bear this in mind when you're working to future patterns. If it's a UK pattern, these are called treble crochets, but in the US, they're double crochets. Continue with your crocheting until you get to the end of this row, and I will meet you at the end of the row. When you get to the end of the row of 20 stitches, we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. This row we're going to continue with our double crochets. So yarn over, push through the first stitch, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops. So yarn over, push through the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops. And we're going to continue this until we've completed this row, and I will see you at the end of the row. At the end of this row, this is how your work should look. So we've done 2 rows of single crochets, 2 rows of half double crochets and 2 rows of double crochets, and then we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and now we're going to do single crochets again. So if you remember, this is push your hook through, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, push through, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, push through, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, and we're going to continue this until the end of the row. When you get to the end of this row, you should have completed 20 stitches of single crochets. and we're going to chain one and turn our work into the first stitch. We're going to do another row of single crochets. So hook through, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, and I will meet you at the end of this next row. So I've speeded the video up to get us through to the end of this row. Just remember, you can always pause the video, rewind, or you can even go into your settings and speed up or slow down the video if I'm working at a speed that's not suitable for you. So now we have completed 2 rows of single crochets. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and now we're going to do half double crochets. So if you remember, this is yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So yarn over, push through, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, push through, grab the yarn, pull through all 3 loops. And we're going to do another 4 rows of half double crochets, and when we get to the end of this row we are going to do rows of double crochets. So for the double crochets you need to chain 2, turn your work, yarn over, push through the first stitch, grab the yarn again, pull through 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, push through, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops. And we're going to continue this and do another 4 rows of double crochets, and I will meet you at the end of this work. So when you have completed your 4 rows, your work should look something like this. So I'm just going to show you how we finish the row with our last few stitches of double crochet. So when you've done your last stitch, you need to cut your yarn, leaving enough tail to sew in. Snip the yarn, pull and release, grab some yarn and pull through. And there you have completed your yarn. And then to finish off your ends, you grab one of your wide-eyed needles, and then you need to simply thread through some of your stitches and hide the remaining yarn. And then snip off the remaining loose ends. And there you have finished your practice square of single crochets, half double crochets and double crochets. And just to show you close up, this is how it should look. So you should have your rows of single crochets, your half double crochets and your double crochets. Although it's not important for this project, which was really to master the 3 basic stitches of crochet, it might be an idea at this point to measure your work and check to see if your tension is correct. So measure across the rows and down the rows and check how many stitches you have to a 10cm square to see if it matches up with your yarn's guidance for future projects that you may do. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please subscribe by clicking on the button below this video. This will notify you of any future videos of projects that I post in the future. Please comment below the video, and you can also interact with other users if you visit the Facebook DeeBeezyArt page. Hope to see you soon.